What is going on, you guys? WonderBro here with another video. I just want to say right off the bat that I love each and every one of you, and I'm glad you're here with me so that we can continue to grow together. We can continue to learn about the mind and how it affects us. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you've taken this step in your recovery, in your life, to become the observer and to learn about acceptance. So today we're going to be talking about how if you allow things, they will leave you alone. And what I mean by that is when we have thoughts that we don't like, when we have feelings that are a bit uncomfortable, we automatically get worked up, we get involved with it, we run from it, we fight it, and we want it to leave us alone because it is uncomfortable. And in doing that, we think that we're helping ourselves. You know, we feel bad. We're having thoughts we don't like. Of course, you know, shouldn't we get involved? Shouldn't we try to, quote-unquote, fix this? But the irony is in trying to run away from your thoughts and feelings and trying to fight them off and trying to change them and trying to, you know, all this stuff that you're trying to do to feel better or to get these things, these thoughts and these feelings to leave you alone, you're strengthening these things, you're giving them power, you're giving them momentum. And so in the brain, we're teaching our brain that these things must be important, they must be dangerous, you know, they are important. That is what we're showing the brain. That is what we're teaching the brain. But instead, if you take the approach of being an observer, so when I have a bad feeling, I just observe it. I don't put judgments or labels on it, I just observe it. Or when I have a bad thought, I don't put judgments or labels on it, but I just observe it. I become the observer of my thoughts and feelings, and in doing this, I don't get involved, I just observe. I'm neutral. I'm not on any sides. I'm just observing. I'm not judging or labeling. I'm just kind of watching it happen. I'm watching my feelings, I'm observing them, I'm watching my thoughts, I'm observing them, but I'm not getting involved. I'm accepting them, I'm allowing them to happen, and in allowing them to happen, something great eventually happens, and that's these thoughts and feelings slowly and over time begin to leave you alone. And that happens because you quit giving them so much power. We see people caught in the cycle of giving these things so much power and so much momentum, and it's just this never-ending cycle. But when you become the observer, which is acceptance, which is what we talk about here on the channel so often, when you become the observer, a neutral observer, I say neutral because you don't want to place judgments or labels on your thoughts or feelings. You know, you don't do any of that, you just observe them. And when you become the observer, these things eventually leave you alone because they have no momentum. Things need momentum to stay alive. Everything is energy-based. So the more you give these thoughts and feelings your energy, the more momentum you give these things, the longer they stick around, the longer they stay alive, and your brain is getting the wrong message. If you become mindful, which is becoming the observer, these things eventually leave you alone. Little by little, slowly by slowly. Slowly by slowly, I don't know if that made any sense, but slowly these things leave you alone. Don't get frustrated or lose your patience because it doesn't happen overnight. This takes, you know, practice and dedication, and that's why I say patience is important. Just allow and know that you'll heal in time. But I'm going to give you an example. So let's say I'm sitting here tonight making this recording, and all of a sudden I get a thought that pops in my head that says, this video is horrible, I've wasted all this time, I just need to delete it, everybody's going to misinterpret what I said, let's just get rid of it and start over. Now, I know that I'm satisfied with this video, but that thought popped into my head, so what do I do now? Do I argue with that thought and say, no, get away from me? Do I try to run from it and distract myself? You know, quickly, think of something else. What do I do with that thought? I would just notice that thought. There's a thought. And I would just watch it and observe it. I wouldn't say, oh, that's a bad thought. I wouldn't put a judgment or a label on it. I'm accepting it. I'm allowing it to be without trying to judge it or label it or run from it or fight with it or distract myself, anything. I'm just simply allowing. There's not much to learn here. Just remember that. Allowing. I'm allowing and observing and just letting it be. Same with your feelings. If I was sitting here now making this video and I got a feeling I didn't like, whatever physical symptom, you can put it in whatever physical symptom bothers you the most. Use it for this example. So I get this physical symptom. I could run from it. I could fight with it. I could argue with it. I could distract myself. I could get up and run around the house. Whatever. But instead, I'm going to observe it. I'm not going to judge it or label it or think to myself, oh, this is horrible. I'm just going to allow. In allowing your thoughts to be and your feelings to be without getting involved, that is the important part, the most important part. Without your involvement, just allowing and observing, these things lose their momentum, and in time, your brain gets the right idea, gets the right message, the momentum is lost, and these things leave you alone. Your thoughts and your feelings will leave you alone. The more you give power to uncomfortable feelings or thoughts, the more they thrive. Things need momentum to stay alive, and as long as you continue to give them momentum by fighting or arguing with them or getting involved or running away or whatever it is you do, whatever your coping behavior is, the more momentum they get and the longer they stick around. Your brain is getting the wrong message. So to send your brain the right message, to show it that you're no longer giving importance to these things, to show it that these things are not important, you become the observer. And this is acceptance. This is what we talk about in almost every mental health video. Acceptance. It all comes back to acceptance. I'm just elaborating. I'm just going in, deeper detail. But become the observer of your thoughts and feelings. That is what the point of this video is. That is what the point of acceptance is. To not run from thoughts or feelings. To not fight with thoughts or feelings. To do nothing with any of it. And just be and observe. No judgments. No labels. You're just watching, you're observing, you're allowing. That is important. You are allowing these things to be. You're just letting them be. Letting them be. And the more you do this, the easier it gets. The more these thoughts and feelings lose their power, the more your nerves, your nervous system starts to heal. So the more you do this, the easier it gets, because your nerves are healing as you do this, and as your nerves heal, this becomes an easier practice to put into play. Now, this isn't just something to do when you're sensitized, when you have, when your nerves are on high alert. This is something you need to do in everyday life. You observe things, you accept things as they are. There's no need to resist or fight. Where's that going to get you besides stressing you out? So you become the observer of everything, your thoughts, your feelings. You don't become so identified with them. Those things are not you. You are the observer. You are the awareness. So you're observing these things neutrally with no judgments or labels, and eventually they lose their momentum and they die out. They die out. Now, I was watching a video earlier, and this guy was comparing your thoughts and feelings to soap bubbles. Bubbles, if you notice, bubbles pop themselves. Bubbles rise up. If a kid's blowing bubbles, the bubbles will eventually pop on their own without your involvement. And that's what he was trying to say. When you don't get involved and you just watch the bubbles peacefully and as calmly as you can without judging it, the bubble will pop. And that's like your thoughts and feelings. Eventually those things will pop. They'll leave you alone. They will go away on their own without you stressing yourself out further trying to make them go away. And you give them momentum when you try to make them go away, and they stick around longer. So the irony of it is, when you just observe and you don't try to make them go away, and you just let them be and you don't get involved and fight with any of this or run away, they let themselves go. They let themselves out. They're just visitors. They're here temporarily. Let them be, and they'll leave on their own. Okay, when you try to force them out, you're just adding momentum and stress to the situation. So I'm going to wrap this up. And make it really neat. Become the observer of your thoughts and feelings. Do not get involved, and they will leave you alone in time. All right, you guys? And it's as simple as that. Put this into practice. Do this every time you want to get involved. Just become the observer, and you will see your life slowly begin to change. All right? I love each and every one of you. very, very much. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, send people, to the channel that may need my help. I'm very grateful for it, and I'm sure they'd be very grateful too. I need your guys' help to hit 2,000 subscribers. We are very, very close, and like I said, I am so grateful. Anyway, you guys, I hope this helps somebody out there. Comment, let me know how you've been. I love hearing from you guys, and until next time, as always, stay awesome.